since I have no reason to believe that Dan Bongino, for example, or Kash Patel at the FBI, or Donald Trump, or J.D. Vance, or any of the other people in the administration who have spoken about this before and now are saying that Epstein killed himself and that there is no Epstein list. I don't have any reason to believe those people are lying to me and they have better information than I do. All I can do, rationally speaking, from my own perspective, is say that I believe them. Now, could evidence emerge that completely contradicts all of that and it turns out they were part of a conspiracy? Sure, that could happen. And when that happens, I will change my opinion.
But for now, there's nothing to see here. Ben Shapiro there explaining why he believes the Trump administration is telling the truth about Jeffrey Epstein and his final moments, if you will. Are you surprised to hear this take from Ben Shapiro?
No, I'm not, but I think he's telling on himself, or at least on his beloved Israel, because as Tucker Carlson's gonna talk about in a second, we'll have that tape for you about Mark Levin. Same thing for Shapiro here, very curious attitude, right? So Jeffrey Epstein, no big deal. It's all conspiratorial. I mean, look, of course, if you have hundreds of underage girls who were raped, there was no one who raped them. Yeah, that makes sense. There were no clients at all, and no one should be prosecuted. Why are you weirdly nervous about this? And why are you covering this up? And then it makes me go, oh, well, there is one theory out there about who Epstein was working with, and that's Mossad. And the two theories are Trump and Clinton are on the list, so that's why the Republicans and Democrats will never release it. The second theory is it was an intelligence agency, that's why they had enough juice to be able to kill someone inside an American prison and have both parties cover it up for them, right? And of course, they had tons of tapes. They say they have tons of tapes of the most powerful and the richest people in the world having sex with underage girls. Who would want that kind of information? Oh, an intelligence agency, obviously, right? And so it's either the CIA, some had thought about MI6, or of course Mossad from Israel. And so when I see Ben's reaction to it, it's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. You guys are being conspiratorial. I believe Pam Bondi, and I don't think there were any clients. I mean, like the girls probably raped themselves, and we gotta let Ghislaine Maxwell out of prison apparently because there's no evidence. And Epstein killed himself for no reason if he killed himself because there was no evidence. Look away, look away. Okay, I'm not saying it. Ben Shapiro, through his actions and his panic, is saying it was Mossad.
Yeah, and he wants Tucker Carlson and others to shut up, apparently. He slammed Carlson for proposing that Epstein was a domestic or foreign intelligence asset. Watch.
All of this is part and parcel of a broader theory that's being spun out by people like Tucker, that the real story here, the real story is that Jeffrey Epstein was either a domestic intelligence agent or a domestic intelligence asset working for the CIA or with the CIA, or a foreign intelligence asset on X, obviously, because this is how X is constructed. He must be Mossad, right? This was the going theory in the online space. And if the evidence is not released to justify that theory, or if the DOJ and FBI say that theory isn't true, that is not proof that the theory isn't true. It's not even evidence the theory isn't true. It actually is evidence the theory is true. And this is the problem with conspiracy theories generally. The great wonder of a conspiracy theory is that it is totally unfalsifiable. So if the DOJ and FBI say there's no evidence for the proposition that you are putting forth, this just means they're in on it.
So Shapiro also went after Carlson for being disloyal to one Donald Trump, and then he also hit Pam Bondi, head of the Justice Department, for just fueling these Epstein conspiracy theories.
Once you reach the level where you have no evidence for your suppositions, but your suppositions are more important than any of the evidence or even the credibility of the people you're attacking. And let's be clear, when people like Tucker are attacking the DOJ and the FBI here, they're attacking President Trump's DOJ and President Trump's FBI. They're not just attacking Pam Bondi, who again, I think acted really irresponsibly by feeding this monster for a while without the evidence to actually support it. But the attacks are not just on Pam Bondi for being inconsistent. The attacks are on the entire Trump administration, because if you actually believe the proposition that the Trump administration knows better and is lying to you in order to cover for a child trafficking sex monster, if that is your supposition, then just say it. Really, just say it. Because that's what you would have to suppose. There is no third choice. Even if you believe that the Trump administration is doing this to cover for a domestic intelligence agency or a foreign intelligence agency, that would still be evil.
Let's take a look at some of the comments on Shapiro's video. A lot of people weighing in.
Okay, actually,
First
before
up,
you do that, Sharon,
yeah.
and I am curious about that because it's his own audience, and so that'll be fun to watch. I just wanted to address a couple of things he said. Well, number one, he's framing it as you're being disloyal to Donald Trump, and they do this. The neocons do this every time. If Donald Trump supports Netanyahu on something or he bombs Iran, they're like, oh, that's it. Donald Trump did it. That's it. Everybody bow your head. You have to be a cult. You have to be a cult. You all have to agree with Donald Trump. Daddy did it, so you're not allowed to disagree. Except MAGA is disagreeing, and my guess is that's what Sharon's about to read to us. And he's like, are you calling all of them evil? Well, they kind of are, actually. They're really pissed about this, and they're right. And then, so that little trick of yours didn't work too much. And then but if you notice, he said about Pam Bondi, she was not wrong to lie about the Epstein files. She was wrong to feed that monster. The conspiracy theory that Jeffrey Epstein actually did rape all those girls, and the rich and the powerful did actually rape those girls. That's apparently talking about that is feeding the monster, okay? Who's the real monster, Ben? Who's the real monster? And speaking of which, now the earlier video, he said, I mean, that's the thing about conspiracy theories. They're unfalsifiable. Interesting. So let's break that one down. Which one do you think is the conspiracy theory? That hundreds of underage girls were raped by no one, and no one should be prosecuted for it, and there are no clients, or hundreds of underage girls were raped by really powerful and wealthy men, and it was taped, and the tape was probably for blackmail. But yet we're not allowed to find out about it because it affected incredibly rich and powerful people, both the people who molested the girls and the people who organized the whole thing. So which one sounds like the conspiracy theory? Ben says, oh, the idea that the girls didn't rape themselves. Ridiculous conspiracy theory. And that the idea that he wouldn't just want to tape it, but not use it, not ever use it for blackmail to get more money or whatever else. Absurd. No. Of course, you tape it for fun, but never use it. And it doesn't matter because there was no clients. Who's the conspiracy theorist, Ben? Because you were trying super freaking hard to make it seem like Epstein's no big deal at all. And it does make everybody question, why? Why? If this doesn't have anything to do with Israel, why wouldn't you just tear into Epstein? Okay, well, let's see how his audience reacted.
Yeah, we'll see. Here are some of the comments. Let's see. Frank Bergman, 240 says Epstein goes from one of the biggest news stories of the decade to, hey, don't worry about it, and we're all just supposed to go home. That's the question. Jesus is Lord 77, tens of thousands of hours, hundreds of victims, and there's only one or two people involved. And this was around the world. Merked Stat. Okay, I've actually listened to Ben for years and would always respect his opinion. This is just absolutely absurd. I have to unsubscribe after this video. So he's just expending all of his capital, it seems, on this one, which would also beg the question as to why. Small sample of the many, many outrage comments under the video. But Shapiro isn't alone in defending the Trump administration. Mark Levin also spoke out in defense of Trump's DOJ and FBI. His arch nemesis, Tucker Carlson, had some strong opinions about that. So let's watch this clip.
Where's Mark Levin on Epstein? I noticed that all these very voluble people who do not hesitate before imposing their opinions on the rest of us suddenly don't have very strong opinions about Epstein. What is that?
Every accusation is actually an admission. And
but why is Mark Levin covering for Epstein? That's weird.
That's a great question. And in particular, when he's going to accuse you of being funded by the Qatari government. And
if only.
Right. That's what I mean about the accusation is the admission.
Qatari government.
The accusation, they could concoct all these wild schemes about how Steve Witkoff or me or you or anybody else is funded by the state of Qatar. When in reality, as you know, it's like, you guys want to talk about foreign funding?
Well,
let's go. Let's take a look at your C3s and release all of the data.
Wild.
I would be happy to take a look at it for you.
Will this go away? How will they make it go away? Because tariffs aren't taking it off the front page for MAGA loyalists. So what gives?
Yeah, so I go back to the word, the curious, funny word that Shapiro used, unfalsifiable. So he's like, well, if you make a conspiracy theory that can't be proven false, then it becomes circular. Well, we all know that there are tapes and there are victims, but if the government never releases the client list and never prosecutes any of them, well, you can't prove it false. Why? Because we literally don't have access to the information. Who blocked it? Obviously, some body or organization that is super powerful. And then ironically, they say, well, you can't prove it because both the Democrats and the Republicans kiss our ass. Gee, I wonder who that is. I wonder. I mean, my God, if the Republicans had dirt on the Democrats that they could use, you think they wouldn't have used it? You think Trump would have held back in his first term or this term? And if you think they had dirt on Trump and the Democrats chose not to use it? Nah. So in my experience, there's only one force powerful enough to get both parties to heel, and we know it. And that's why Levin and Ben Shapiro are in a absolute panic. Like, look away. Oh, you guys are all a bunch of conspiracy theorists. There was no clients at all. I trust Daddy Trump. Daddy Trump is right. No, Pam Bondi's right. Cash Patel and Dan Bongino are right. They're like all sweating and stuff. It's definitely not Mossad. Don't look at Mossad. It's definitely not. Okay, it makes me want to look at Mossad more, not less.
Yeah, and when a underage victim, now an adult, decides to commit suicide, Virginia Giuffre, that's just all for nothing, and nothing went down here, nothing happened. It was just one bad guy. It's just not plausible. And I don't know, I heard today, and I don't know how you feel about it, that Pam Bondi could be on the chopping block because of this. This could cost her ouster because of the way this has been handled. Got to serve up somebody.
Exactly, it's a scapegoat. So they are hoping to make her the sacrificial lamb. So they say, oh, we solved it. It was Pam Bondi. She said that the files existed when they didn't. They think that's gonna work. I mean, look, the left is super mad about this and animated, etc. But I think the right is even more angry. Like the right's like, now you're gonna play us for a fool after all this, and you're gonna tell us after every one of you, Trump, Patel, Bondi, Bongino, all of you guys, oh, Epstein, pedophiles, groomers, it's the worst. Now, nothing to see here. There were no clients at all. We're not going to charge a single person out of all those women who were raped, those girls who were raped. Who cares? We're not going to charge one single person. You'll have no justice at all. And they think that they're going to serve up Pam Bondi as a scapegoat, and MAGA's going to go along and then go back to, under the bosom of Daddy Trump? I don't think so.
What about Raskin and the others who are say, oh, we're investigating, maybe they should just get out of the way. If MAGA is leading the charge and is that upset about this, carrying the torch, should the Democrats just sit on the sidelines?
No. Never sit on the sidelines. Get in the game. So if Raskin can find out who actually did it or who the clients are, that would be amazing. I don't believe in the James Carville school of sit on your ass, okay? So I love that Raskin's looking into it. And hey, somebody in government's got to look into it. So I love that a Democrat raised their hands to look into it. Good, be honest, actually serve the American people. That's terrific. And Sharon, in terms of MAGA doing something about it, what can they do? They thought they elected a guy who was going to do it for them, and now he just betrayed them. And so there's one other thing about that betrayal that I want to get to in a second. But so, because there's a giant difference between the voters and the politicians and the people in power. It's true of the Democrats, true of the Republicans. Democrats actually want the policies that would help you guys. Higher minimum wage, paid family leave, lower drug prices, etc. right? The Democratic voters do. But the Democratic politicians, 80% of them are corrupt. They took the donor money and they're gonna serve the donors, right? And then you'd go to the Republicans, like the MAGA base, we disagree with them on a billion things, right? And we fight about all that stuff, but they genuinely care about the Jeffrey Epstein issue, for sure. They care about it 1,000,000%. But all their politicians are crooks. So 80% at least of our politicians are crooks. 98% of their politicians are crooks. And they're all like, oh, no way. We're never gonna give you Epstein, even though we were the ones who made a big deal out of it. And so the last thing on that, Sharon, is the reason why this is so damaging to Trump is not just because he went back on his word and he's screwing them over on something they view to be super important, Jeffrey Epstein, and I agree with that. It's because he ran as anti-establishment. He said, I'm not one of the elites. I'm gonna go after the elites. And I'm gonna give a big middle finger to the establishment. And one of the things that establishment does is gaslight you, tell you that there are no Jeffrey Epstein clients, and you should bow your head and listen to mainstream media and establishment politicians, right? And so they elected Trump to fight against that because that's what he said. And now he gets into office, turns out he is the establishment. He is among the elites who were literally friends with, he was Jeffrey Epstein's friend for 15 years. And Ghislaine Maxwell's friend, and said how he wishes her well once she got arrested. He said that he knows Jeffrey likes them young. And that Jeffrey was a terrific guy, he said back in the day. So now that's all the stuff we knew. We told them that, they wouldn't listen to us, but now they're seeing it with their own eyes. Yeah. Trump is a billionaire that's among the elites. And yeah, he loves the establishment. The reason he was fighting them wasn't because he was against them, it was because he was mad that he wasn't in their club. So now he's in their club and he's forgotten all about his voters and MAGA and his base. And that's the deeper reason why they're so livid.
Wouldn't it be ironic if out of everything else, this could spell a tapering off? I won't say the end, but this could be it.
No, there's definitely a tapering off. Like, is it gonna undo Trump or the Republican politicians, et cetera? That's to be determined. This has just begun, right? But is there an unraveling of support from Trump? Yes. This was like when Democratic voters found out that Joe Biden was too old. For the rest of the country, they're like, how could you not see it, right? But for Democratic voters, they really believed the propaganda. So when we lifted the curtain and they saw Biden was super old and couldn't finish a sentence, they were like, oh! And that's the moment right now a lot of MAGA is having with Trump. You peel back the curtain and Trump is going, yeah, this is Jeffrey Epstein's totally fine. There was no victims at all. We're not gonna prosecute anyone. You should just all forget about it. And MAGA is going, oh, yeah, he's also in the establishment. Yeah, he also lied to you. Yes, he's also a greasy politician. So that's how it works. For once in our lives, we have to elect a real populist. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but the fake ones are relatively easy to spot. The problem is when they're on your side, for a lot of folks, they become much harder to spot, right? Let's find a real populist and take over this government and actually have it serve the American people.
I love it. Maybe she'll run for Senate or maybe she'll run for the presidency. I know you already talked about it, but I don't know. I'd like to see her. I think there's a chance. Catch a flyer.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a chance. And Rebellion PAC is out there looking for just the right candidate. So come join us and join the rebellion, because it's a rebellion against Democratic leadership. It's a rebellion against Republican leadership. It's a rebellion against the establishment, against all these corrupt politicians. So rebellionpac.com. And we do the truth here on the Young Turks, and we don't care who it offends. Oh no, you can't say that about a Democrat. Yes, I can. Oh, you can't say that about Republicans. Oh, yes, I can. So that's what we do on the Young Turks. So if you like that, this is the right place for you. If you want propaganda from either side, don't worry, you got a lot of options.
I love it. This is the most loyal audience ever that's not forced or asked to be loyal. And I think that's the beauty of TYT. I think that's the beauty of it.
That's why I love our members. Love them. They actually have open minds, open hearts, and now they're starting to be from all over the political spectrum. One day we're going to unite this country. So I'm a true believer. So let's keep fighting forward. Let's try to unite around serving the average American and not the powerful. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.